My name is Sarah, just to start off. I'm the copy editor for The Pioneer. But basically I just wanted to talk to you because when I first heard about the festival, I felt two things at first. Like first I was kind of like sad that I didn't like know about it sooner because I would have attended like some of the events.
Right.
And then second, I was like happy that it even happened in the first place. So I knew that like as soon as I heard about it, I wanted to talk to you. Uh,
Cool.
so first off, I just kind of want to talk about the event itself. I have a paper right here. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to talk about the festival itself. I know there were virtual, in-person workshops, ensembles, performances, presentations, just a lot going on. So I just kind of wanted to know how was the turnout? Like, did everything go as you hoped?
Yeah, I felt really good about it. I felt like it was really successful. One of the goals of the festival is to look at performance in new ways, both in light of wanting to work towards greater inclusion and diversity
Sorry
in
about
performance.
that.
No problem. And also in light of the pandemic and also the sort of social justice movements that have erupted over the last 2 years, to revisit why it is we are interested in the arts and performance, and what are ways that are more relevant to the way the world is now, rather than just relying on what artists and producers and directors have done for many, many generations, but to really sort of update our approach. And maybe we would find that we want to do things the same way, but maybe there's new things that we could discover.
No, yeah, I definitely love that.
So in that sense, it was really successful. I feel like we did that. A lot of people showed up. There's a lot of good dialogue, a lot of crossing over genre boundaries. And that was really exciting. And the plan is to continue doing it every year if we can, as long as we can.
Yeah, great. I was going to ask actually that if it was going to be something that you wanted to have annually. So that's great. I think, okay, so that's perfect. Then next year I can hopefully attend some of the events because I was like really sad that I didn't know about it a little sooner. Yeah, that's actually really great. So the next thing I just kind of want to talk about is your involvement. Like one of the first things I thought when I was scrolling through your guys' page,
Yeah.
like showing all the events, I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't even imagine the planning that went into this. It just seemed like it was like, so much that you were able to accomplish in a month. So I just kind of wanted to talk about, like how long did it take to plan for it? What was that like? Like, were there any complications? I'm sure there obviously were when it came to COVID restrictions.
Yeah, well, one of the big values of the festival, kind of core value, was that we do it together, we create it together. And it wasn't going to be the traditional, there's a producer and then there's artists and activists, but that anybody that wanted to do an event as part of the festival had to also have a representative come to our weekly planning meetings. And so we had a planning council. And my goal with that was so that I would be kind of a facilitator of the festival, but each person in each event or each group would handle their own event. And we could help each other, we could give feedback, but ultimately each event would be produced by the people doing the event. And so that's why we were able to have so many events, because I didn't have to organize all of them.
Okay, yeah.
I helped provide a central hub of organizing and publicity and information, but then each person it was up to them or each group to invite people, to lead the event, to figure out if they wanted to host it on Zoom or another platform, how they wanted to do that. And so that to me is a really exciting model because it feels more sustainable going forward.
Yeah, that's great. I think that would have been too much for one person to handle. Yeah, and so another question is just kind of like for you personally, like what was like your most, this kind of might be hard because you guys had so much going on, but like what was your most memorable performance or workshop that you can just think of off the top of your head?
Well, I have to say, my most memorable or the most meaningful part of it for me was the planning council meetings.
Okay.
Uh, and and I'm interested in blurring that line between public events and private planning. And it felt like the planning council meetings were themselves a huge part of the festival.
Mhm.
And there was about 15 of us. Not everybody came every time, but that met weekly. And those were really exciting. We had some really interesting discussions about sort of why we do performance.
Mhm.
What is it we hope to get out of it? How do we relate to audiences? Is it important for other people to come to these events? What if no one comes? Should we still do it? Um, that was the most exciting part of it for me.
Was the planning? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's good because you guys were able to kind of like get together and just kind of pick apart exactly what you wanted to, the people who attended, what you wanted them to take out of it. Um, no, that's great. And then this kind of goes like very similar to that, but I just kind of wanted to know this, like for my own personal curiosity, I just wanted to know, was there any like point during the event? Like I know it was like stretched over a month. So I just kind of want to know, like, was there any point at which you had this kind of moment of realization where you're like this is kind of why I do it, or like um, this is why we went through all this like hard work and planning for this moment, I guess. It's kind of like a open question, but yeah.
Yeah, I think there was an event towards the beginning of the festival called Lest We Forget, and it was happening at our Healing the Trauma of Racism altar, which was in the University Theater lobby. And there were about 4 or 5 different artists, teachers presenting, and no one else besides the presenters came in person to the event. Well, that was the really great thing about it. So we just shared with each other, and it was
Yeah.
beautiful sharing. And it felt like it was like, oh yeah, this is why we do this, is to just share creativity with each other. And there were some people watching online, but I really loved it. Like it sort of stripping away what I see as part of the capitalist model of producing art, that you have to have a lot of people show up and the art has value based on how many people come to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And taking that away and instead saying, no, the art is valuable because we need this for our souls to share with each other and express. And we got to be very specific, like, okay, well, there's only 5 of us, so you stand over there, I'm going to perform for you over there, and then we're going to go over here. And it reminded me why I do art in general.
Oh, I love that. It seems like it's very like the way you described it, it seems like it was very like intimate, I guess. Yeah, that's great. And then I just kind of wanted to know, like, one last thing. As someone who didn't attend, and then you mentioned that you guys want to have that again next year, are there any, I know it might be a little too soon, but are there any things you want to try and do differently next year, maybe, or incorporate differently, I guess?
Yeah, it's interesting because I just sent out an email today to all the participants in the planning council last time. We are doing it next year. We're going to try a very different format in certain ways. In certain ways, it'll be similar, but we're going to stretch it out over the entire academic year and have at least one event a month.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll still do our planning council, but instead of the planning council meeting every week, it'll meet once a month. We're trying to make it more sustainable, because it was great the first year. All that stuff in 1 month was really exciting, but it was a lot to keep up with. And so if we can stretch it out and have a little more space in between events, it will learn something. You know, it's experimental, so we'll might have a whole new format the third year. But we're also going to base the foundation of the second year is around these once a month events called Shabbat Art Ins, which are something we've played with in our theater and dance department. Shabbat is a Jewish ritual of rest that happens once a week, every Friday evening through Saturday evening. And so once a month, we're going to gather at around, not exactly, but close to sundown on Friday.
Is it still okay? It's still recording. Oh my gosh, that was so scary. Okay, I don't know what happened. It just kind of like I think you froze and okay, thank God. Oh my God.
Well,
That's scary.
the sign of the times. I don't know what the last thing you heard was.
You said you wanted to gather like close to sundown.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to gather close to sundown one Friday a month, and it's called an art in, sort of inspired by the B-ins of the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, where it's more of like a gathering and things happen spontaneously. So there'll be part of the events will be artists sharing something they've prepared, but then part of it will be an opportunity to kind of jam together. Like everybody can just show up and bring an instrument or bring a poem they wrote, or just come and bring themselves, and we'll create something together in the moment in a kind of spontaneous way. So those art ins will be the bones of the festival, but then different artists will set up different things as well. It's really open, so people can throughout the year set up events and be part of the festival. And we'll come up with some kind of requirement, like you have to come to at least 4 planning council meetings if you want your event to be part of it, so that you're in the process with us.
Okay, yeah. No, that sounds great. And I feel like that'll give you guys a chance to really kind of like hone in on that one event like for the month, and hopefully get a lot more people to come in. But that sounds like actually really good. I don't have anything to do with like theater or art, but just talking to you, like it's definitely intrigued me. So thank you.
Well, and I think journalism is a kind of art and kind of performance in a different way. And so I would say you do already.
Oh, thank you.
And, maybe one of the events would be a journalism panel or who knows?
Yeah, I noticed that. I think it was the first event on the website. It was, I believe it was I'm not sure if was it a panel or some type of like speaker, right? Journalist.
Yeah, right. Talking about she put together a book about disability in dance, and so talking about the book. Yeah, so it's really open to lectures, all kinds of presentations. So the inclusive is also it's inclusive of all different people, all different identities, but also all different creative forms.
Yeah, that's really great. I'm looking forward to being there next year.
Well, I'll definitely keep a lookout for it. I'll put your name down so you get info when we send it out.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then, yeah, just my first and last name is right there. I don't know if you got it in the email, but yeah. All right. Well, thank you for talking to me. You are amazing, and I love the stuff that you're doing. And like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to hopefully attending to some of the stuff next year. So I'm really excited for that.
Council, if you want.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, then yeah, I might be interested in that too. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. I'll go ahead and send you some further emails about if I have any questions with transcribing everything.
Yeah, please do. And I think there's a way to save the transcript. Let me see.
Yeah, there might be.
Full transcript, save transcript. Yeah, so I'll send this to you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Sure. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye.